Hey dudes, TheeRealDuke here with episode 22 of the Infinite Heights build challenges. It's 3 Block Challenge number 9, and it's coming up right now. What is going on, dudes? How you guys doing? Thank you for joining us. We are doing some judging tonight of the 3 Block Challenge on the Infinite Heights Minecraft server. So, if you don't know what the 3 Block Challenge is, I will go over it for you very quickly. It's pretty simple. So, I pick 3 blocks, and they're blocks that I think may pose some kind of challenge when it comes to making a creative design. So, your challenge is to use those 3 blocks in the coolest ways you can, have them fit inside the 11 by 11 build plots that you're given, and see who can come up with the coolest thing. It's very easy. You get the 3 blocks I choose, as many of each of them as you want. Can't use any other blocks except for up to 5 torches and up to 3 signs. So, that's it. Pretty simple, right? Good. Cool. So, let's get to it. Let me just hide everybody. There we go. Now it's a ghost town. So, let's get right into it, right? Plot 1, Tornakis, Duke's favorite ride, the banana boat. Tropic said Duke likes bananas, so yeah. I do like bananas. The banana boat is not my favorite ride. It is my favorite coconut scented sunscreen. I do like to go tanning with it because it smells good. Smells like delicious coconuts. So, what did Torn do here? It's got a cool... It's banana-shaped, clearly. It's yellow like a banana. He's got the little stem up here. And he's got the little butt down at the bottom, right? Very cool. Very well detailed. He's created a lot of awesome action with the water here. Kind of splashing as if it's on rough seas. And I think the way he's got the banana pointed, it makes it into like a cool kind of like a Viking kind of trireme type ship, which is pretty sweet. Pretty cool. Just enough of the wood to of the wood to balance out the rest of the colors, to keep a solid ratio of the blocks. Very cool. It's a cool looking boat too. Awesome. Good job, buddy. Thanks, Torn. Very cool. We have the Lady Tropic in plot number 2. Tropical bird protecting its egg. So, I mean, this is pretty awesome. Now, it's blue and yellow, and it has the brown wingtips, right? But this totally looks like a phoenix in my mind. I'm totally getting a phoenix vibe. It's not red and orange like what I imagine a phoenix might be, because phoenixes aren't real, so I don't know what one actually looks like. I don't think anybody does, but I think the common conception of one is red and orange and fire and stuff like that. But this definitely has the shape of it kind of coming up, which is awesome. It's getting very territorial over its egg here, which is sweet. And then these awesome tail feathers. Shake Your Tail Feathers is a song I've heard before, I believe. Awesome. Plus the wings are, I mean, it's at this cool angle. It's kind of turned to the side, which is difficult and hard to pull off. And if you can do it well, it's awesome. And this is that. Very cool. Very cool. I'm going to turn it to night to see what the torches look like. Actually, I have caps lock on for some reason. Let me try that again. There we go. Yeah, so she has the torches here kind of making it look like the feathers are glowing. And Torn, you can see in the banana boat, makes it look like the banana's glowing. Awesome. Very cool. Awesome build. Awesome, Tropic. Thanks, girl. So here we are in plot number 3. Pop-Tart 85. An oyster does one thing, protect its pearl. The world is our oyster. Love and imagine. I think that's supposed to say imagination. Love and imagination is the pearl. Well, that's a very sweet sentiment. Very, very sweet sentiment. Just trying to get a shape for the oyster. And then if we look inside, there's the pearl. Very cool. And then Pop-Tarts use the, could you see it in there? Pop-Tarts use the, there's a torch right there. I don't want to punch because I'll crack at it, but right where the cursor is, right there is a little torch. Lighten it up just enough so that you can see it. Looks sweet. Looks very sweet. Cool. The only thing that occurs to me, Pop-Tart is a really great concept. It's a really nice idea. We've had builds use switch up how they think about or how they use or make use of the ratio of blocks to add emphasis to something. So they kind of create focus on something by using a small amount of one block, and you've done that here with like the yellow glass pane, stained glass pane, which is really awesome. The only thing I'm thinking is that from out here, it looks a little bit more like a jewelry box and a little bit less like a little bit less like an oyster. And I'm trying to think, it's taking me a second, I'm trying to think how I would switch it around. And the only thing that I can think of is if instead of using the blue wool, you could have used, to make the oyster, you could have used the half slabs, which are very thin, and they would allow you to make a very thin, kind of a little bit flatter oyster. Maybe you could have just had it peeking open a little bit so we could see it, and then blue could have been kind of maybe some water around it or something like that, which could have been cool. But yeah, I think it's awesome. It's a great idea and a good execution. Good job, Pop-Tart. 885er. Awesome. Plot number 4, Kissy. A brief moment of clarity as I find the balance between the positives and the negatives in my mind's eye with the helps of the spirits that surround me safely. Well, cool. So, Kissy, clearly feeling ways about things. Definitely feeling stuff. Such feels, right? Very cool. So, brief moment of clarity. So we have, so she's trying to illustrate for us an abstract feeling that she's having, right? Which there's some feelings that you have that can't be, like she couldn't make an apple here and then we would get that, you know, it has to be an abstract thing. So we have to dissociate how we think or how we interpret things from the actual object. So if you give someone that actual object to look at, like if she made an apple, no reason I'm picking apple, but if she did give someone that, then you'd be connected to that in some way. And so by eliminating concrete imagery and switching to abstract imagery, she allows you to kind of come into this abstract area that she's working in. I don't really know what to do with my hands right now. So let's take a walk inside. So I glitch out a little bit. So she's talking about, and I'm stuck. She's talking about a brief moment of clarity as I find the balance between the positives and the negatives in my mind's eye. So what I'm kind of thinking is, okay, we have these yellow, and this is just how I'm personally interpreting it. If you come here and you check it out yourself, which I implore you to do, I definitely encourage you to do that. You may interpret it differently, but here's what I'm seeing, okay? What I'm seeing is there's a basic structure, okay? And there are, the yellow panes of glass are ordered around part of the structure down at the bottom, okay? And then there are yellow panes just flying all over the place, all kinds of crazy things, right? And so if we're looking at this, if she's talking about a balance between two things, I think we can use the yellow panes, which are the brightest panes and stand out the most, to be balance at the bottom. And then they are positives, rather. Positives down at the bottom because they're stabilized and ordered. And then disorder from the negatives and everything else trying to make their way into the space that she's made. And so for her to create an abstract structure that is expressing the point, the single point where these two things meet, right? Because she says a brief moment of clarity. So there should be one singular spot in the middle, in between both things as they come together, that we can point to and say that's the spot of clarity that she's talking about. And when you come in the middle here, you can see it. It's right here. There's a circle at the top where I think kind of things get processed, and she's also got like a little torch in there just to add a little bit of light, especially at night. That looks sweet. And here they are, two of these pieces, right? One of the ordered ones. This is just, again, this is how I'm imagining what she's giving me. So one of the ordered ones on the bottom, and one from the disorder, from the craziness from outside, kind of bloop, right there. But it's not a sphere of them, right? It's just those two, boop. So it's just everything's kind of coming together just for this little point. That's a very elegant design. Very cool. Very cool. Good job, Kissy. That's a solid build. Very cool. Here we are with Scars Forever. Real-time strategy arena by Scars Forever. So let's check it out. So we're up here. Can you imagine? Kind of fighting around here. Pow, pow, pow. Right? Down here. This is nice down here. I definitely can... you know, picture myself in here kind of hiding behind these things. Like just kind of strafing. Pow, 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 pow. You know what I'm saying? Kind of ducking behind here. Just crouching. Crouching, sneaking. You know what I'm saying? Very cool. Very cool. Because these glass panes are floating, those could even be like power-ups or something in every corner that maybe you're trying to secure, which is cool. Scars Forever. This is a cool idea. It's a very cool idea, and I think it's a very solid execution too. With the 3 block challenges, and this is something that we talk about a little bit in different ways, I think, every week. When we make designs that are symmetrical on all 4 sides, what ends up happening is, because we're looking at this as a 3-dimensional build challenge, right? So if we make something that's symmetrical on all 4 sides, every side looks the same, and so it's not that it makes it boring or uninteresting or anything like that. It's just that if this side is no different than this side, we could have just one of these sides and get the same effect. And it is possible to make a completely symmetrical build that is very interesting if there's like an overwhelming amount of detail or some part of it lacks that symmetry to draw attention to it. But I think cool designs like this would have a better use larger for a different kind of build challenge, I think. Because this is a really good build, and so I'm just thinking, like, you know, I definitely, it kind of makes me imagine what this would be like and playing through, which is not easy to do. It's difficult to take people from what they're normally doing and then, you know, put them in your build. And so the fact that you were able to do that is awesome. It's just that in terms of other builds in the 3BC that we might end up seeing, either that we've already seen or that we might end up seeing, they're more concrete interpretations of things, and so it might be a little bit easier to put your head around or to wrap your mind around those kinds of things than this, which most of the interest from this comes from being able to actually play in it. But with Scars Forever, this is an awesome build, and in each successive 3 block challenge I definitely see you improving, and I'm really glad that you keep doing them, and you should keep going. You should keep going for sure. Scars Forever, I appreciate it. Good build. Harry Footballs would like me to say hi to their friend Kaylee. Hi, Kaylee. How you doing? Good. I hope you're having fun. I'm glad you're watching. Thank you. Plot number 6, Drees. Am I saying that right, Drees? Drees. Darkened skull and hands being sunk into and hit by acid rain. So, yellow, acid rain, obviously. Blue, not sure what the blue is. Those are hands, though. I can get hands from that. They're kind of like, you know, cool. Very cool. This skull is incredible. This skull is so awesome. The skull is very awesome. I like how the top of it, like the cranium, is kind of just like top of the head. It's just kind of sliced off. You can see right in there. That's awesome. And I think it's a good choice to do that too, because if you would have sealed that in, there would have been way too much. There would have been way too much brown, way too much dark brown in here, and I think that would have maybe thrown off the block ratio. That skull is awesome, man. That is the parts of the skull that you chose to highlight, just those parts that you hit, which it's not obviously the full skull. The parts that you chose to hit, mwah, perfect. Perfect. Just enough scariness and a little bit of menace to it, but not necessarily. It's awesome. Very good. Very good balance. The only thing about the blue, which says being sunk into and hit by acid rain, so I'm assuming that the blue is standing in for water. I think my only gripe is that it could have been. I think maybe the blue. So let me frame it this way. The glass panes as rain, as acid rain falling down, are awesome. Maybe it would have been cool if you would have shown like a single piece of the glass pane hitting some part and splashing. That could have been cool, or maybe hitting one of the backs of the hands and splashing, or like maybe like a trickle running off somewhere. The hands are good. The hands are solid. It's hard to make full hands. I think that's one of the biggest challenges for this. People trying to do hands. Hands are solid. Wood serves its purpose very well. The yellow for the acid rain serves its purpose very well. Just a few minor tweaks. The blue as the water, I think maybe you could have included it in another way, in another capacity. Maybe if it's water, excuse me, if it's water, maybe some waves or some motion down there just to add a little bit of interest, because it's just flat. Or maybe for some reason there's a blue orb that's the brain floating in the middle of the head. It's like not touching the walls or some weird thing. I don't know. But some other more, I think, intentional use of the blue would help. And I'll tell you why the blue stands out as being so flat. And it's your own fault. It's because the yellow, you did so well at making the acid rain look interesting, and where you placed it and how you chose to do it. You did that so well, and you made the skull look so cool. You made the skull look so cool that because you didn't spend as much time working on a plan for the blue, everything else outshines it a little bit. Everything else is too good for the blue, is what I'm trying to say. But it is awesome. It is awesome, Dries. That skull, man. That skull is intense. Digging that skull. Digging that skull. Awesome. So, how many more do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one over there. 6. We just did 6, so that's half and half. So I'm going to take a quick break. You guys go grab a drink of water or some other beverage if you choose. Now we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come right back. Just a second. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.